A loving good evening to all of you. It's a great privilege to have our regional officer, Mr. Dinesh Ram, and Madam Mrs. Dinesh Ram on the days. There is one boy called Gopal who studied in a school which was 8 kilometers away from his house, and he had to walk till 2 kilometers to the bus stop also. Every day the father and mother used to shout, fight, quarrel till late night, and he couldn't sleep properly. In the morning he woke up disturbed because of bad sleep, and he somehow got out and it became late, and one day he ran all the way the 2 kilometers to the bus stop. And as he went, he was very tired, and when the bus came, he stumbled in the footboard. In fact, when he started from home, the mother said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you late?" And when he slipped in the footboard, the driver shouted at him, said, "What's wrong with you, Gopal?" In fact, he went to the level of saying, "If you fall down and you die, I will have to go to the station and lose my peace." When he went to the school, it already became late. But then on the way, as he was entering the class, he was wondering whether he brought the lunch bag at all. And then he started searching into the bag, and the teacher got very irritated. So he smashed him and said, "You are already late and you are standing on the doorway. What's wrong with you?" And pulled him inside. The boy looked a little infuriated at the teacher and threw the bag around a little indifferently, and the teacher got very offended. He pulled the boy and said, "What's wrong with you, boy? You should be dealt by the headmaster." Pulled him to the headmaster. The headmaster has only one treatment: 6 beatings with a long cane. He called the boy, shouted at him and said, "What's wrong with you?" And he gave him 6 blows. And that pain is eternal. It cannot be forgotten. It's still in the mind of the boy called Gopal, who is none other than this Hari Gopal standing in front of you. Because this is all about social emotional learning. And school cinema's wonderful role that it's planning to play in this whole concept of social emotional learning. Because you know what? All along, Gopal had not done any mistake as such. The mistake lay in the fighting between the parents. Everybody asked him, "What is wrong with you?" Recently, I went to a glass shop and the specs shop, and I saw one incident. One man, he just walked into the specs shop and he asked the girl in the counter, "Is the glass ready?" The girl immediately said, "No sir, the truck got delayed because of some bund and the glass is not reached. It will come tomorrow." "What the hell?" he shouted. "You all are morons. You said you would give the glass today. I want it somehow," he said. I was sitting there and I was just wondering, what's wrong with this fellow? The lady talked back with the same kind of temperament, almost asking him, "What's wrong with you?" But she went to another level and said, "So because I'm a lady, don't start shouting at me." She almost started weeping. He gave one more shout. "Big company, big class, nonsense, bullshit." And he jumped out of the shop. Again, the problem is shortage of sympathy, empathy. I was not able to sympathize with the man because I don't know how badly he wanted the specs. I only thought, what's wrong with that fellow, idiot. The lady was also not able to empathize with him. And the man, of course, I don't have to tell you. So this is what the social emotional learning is seriously all about. Every one of us, you know about the disturbances that we have. The problem is there is so much of pressure building up due to various gadgets. And the syllabus is becoming more and more stronger. And when we talk about school cinema, saying we are going to bring in cinema, I'm sure it's a very revolutionary move. would be loved very much by the children. There are a few more interesting things which you should bear in mind when you think about social emotional learning. And for the children to get the spirit of being more fair, more just, and more peaceful, to create a livable, lovable, enjoyable, fun society, we require a lot of tools now. That's how the cinema comes in now. I'm sure the content of the school cinema is not like your hero going around the tree with the heroine singing some nonsense, or flying in the air and hitting 50 people at one time. You have all the 50 people falling down, but the hero, though being stabbed in the chest or hit by a bullet in the chest, will somehow manage to get up and walk and talk, say all kinds of dialogues. He will talk revolutionary dialogues with the bullet in the chest, that he will finish off the villains, everything. But all those nonsense, I am sure, is not going to be there in school cinema. School cinema will be much more enjoyable, and they would definitely talk about games, stories, discussions. Everybody said stories, and I saw the way the way in which you were sitting with rapt attention. Stories are really admirable. Everybody told stories, and school cinema is essentially nothing but bringing enjoyable stories to you. See, we taught maths. We've been teaching maths, science, and languages. Let me ask you all one question. Did anybody teach you as to how to be a good human being? Did anybody tell you as to how to be a good sister, a good brother, a good friend, a good citizen? Is it sufficiently said? Social emotional intelligence would motivate you to become good citizens. All children of school could be tuned and fine-tuned into really socially, emotionally intelligent, learned creatures. In fact, school education can improve only if our neuro-alignment is better. Only when you get into a mode of learning. I'm sure many of you are actually, some of the children, when they talk to me, they say they are not able to learn because they are distracted. And that distraction, I'm sure, can be controlled by social, emotional learning. In that way, as the Vice Chairman rightly said, there will be great improvement in the educational abilities of the children. There are proven data available throughout the world. Recently, they did a wonderful research in USA with 20,000 children, right from LKG up to 20 years of age. They made complete, comprehensive observation of all the 20,000 children, and they found out one truth. On a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 mark is lesser in a child among the 20,000 children, they never graduated. Most of them ended up in jails and became criminals. And many of them became addicts, drunkards or smokers or drug addicts. If 1 point was more, interesting, listen. If 1 score out of the 10 was more, many of them ended up as research scholars, scientists, speakers, motivators, people leaders, organization founders, and entrepreneurs, which is outstanding. So social emotional learning is a very, very useful thing for all of you. Long story short, we are talking about IQ and EQ. The intelligence quotient, amount of intelligence, and the emotional quotient. Now there is a very, very important requirement for all of us called FQ. That is focus quotient. Because of these gadgets, because of all these digital world revolutionization, we are not able to concentrate on things, and we are badly in need of something called focus quotient. I invite you to the world of improving and progressing in focus quotient. School cinema would help it. I'm so happy that our beloved sir, Mr. Dinesh Ram, is going to inaugurate the program. And I'm thankful to Madam also for being present. Thank you all.